Let's talk some LSU recruiting.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the Tigers. And I know they lost Bryce Underwood, but we don't have to focus on that. We can focus on what they did land. And they landed a top 10 class in there at number 9 with cornerback DJ Pickett, one of the biggest surprises, Harlan Berry. Carries Kern. I think he's an offensive lineman that can get in there and play early. They flipped Solomon Thomas from Florida State late. Really good class. Chad, what do you love about what LSU did in 2025?
Probably the guys in the trenches, man. I think, SEC football is made with big bodies, and we talked about Texas doing a great job up front, and how they're when we know Alabama's mold and Georgia's mold of success, offensive and defensive linemen. I mean, I like, obviously getting the late flip from Solomon Thomas, from Florida State. Once Alex Atkins left, he really opened things back up, took Florida, get them a strong look as well. And then LSU got him, Courier's Kern. But I think for me, it goes in the trenches on both sides of the football. And to me, that's what Brian Kelly is trying to build, that foundation with a guy like Bo Davis, that coach from the defensive side, and pulling those big bodies in to compete with the schools like Texas, like Bama, like Georgia, where you win. Typically in the SEC, especially late in the season in the playoffs, for those big bodies who can control the second half, who can control the clock, and who can make those fourth and shorts or third and shorts when the plays are needed. And to me, that's where this class stands out. To me, of course, you got the skill guys, Harlan Berry, elite running back, DJ Pickett, no doubt about that. But the trenches stands out to me.
All right, Steve, I want to talk to you about the biggest surprises, and it'd be easy to talk Bryce Underwood or DeCorian Moore, but today's Wednesday, and we always keep it positive on Wednesdays.
Positive Wednesdays, yep.
So today we're going to keep it positive. One of the biggest surprises was DJ Pickett. Not only the original commitment in the summer when he did it right here on the On3 Recruits channel, but the fact that LSU was able to hold on to him when it felt like the sky was falling. And you know what I mean? After that Bryce Underwood decommitment, there was some concern in LSU Nation. But Steve, how were they able to hold on to DJ Pickett?
Well, first and foremost, it starts with the relationship with Corey Raymond and the track record of success, his connection to Patrick Peterson, the family's connection to LSU great Patrick Peterson, the comfort level in Baton Rouge. DJ Pickett always felt at home at LSU. And then I think that the Tigers, Austin Thomas, and that recruiting department were able to make sure that LSU was always where they needed to be from an NIL standpoint with, the demand that DJ Pickett would command and the potential he would have at any of these schools he chose. Look, I think there was a time where he was an Oregon lean. I think LSU, although they led most of his process, a visit to Oregon changed that, and LSU had to rally when a decision date came out and retake the lead. And then they got him in the fold and did everything right from there on out. Again, the relationship, the comfort level, getting the NIL in play. JD, what is the Vegas odds right now on LSU to win the national championship next year?
That's a great question, Steve. Off the top of the dome, don't have that for you. But I will say I like a lot. You look at the SEC. I'll pull this up as we're figuring this out. But when you talk about the rest of the SEC, there's not a ton of returning quarterbacks. Like Garrett Nussmeier is probably the best. Nico Imaliava back from Tennessee. But like Texas, they're one of the best odds to win the national. I think they're second to win the national championship is Texas. New quarterback. Georgia, new quarterback. Florida, you saw a snippet of what DJ Lagway was. So I think when you look across the SEC, we have Garrett Nussmeier. I say we, myself personally on our show, we have Garrett Nussmeier as the second best returning starter in college football. So let me get back to you on the Vegas odds, but I like LSU a lot in the SEC.
Yeah, the way that they build their roster. Say that again, Steve?
2 flyer bets. Take Nussmeier for Heisman. Take LSU to win the national championship. Ooh. And I think this is a recruiting class that can kind of help them. I mean, the calling card of a Brian Kelly recruiting class is always the offensive line. It was a point of emphasis at Notre Dame. He coached some of the best offensive linemen that are still in the NFL at Notre Dame, from Zach Martin, Quentin Nelson, Ronnie Stanley. LSU's had some really good offensive lines. This offensive line class meets the standard. Running back Caden Durham is one of the best returning running backs in the SEC. Harlan Berry's our number 1 ranked running back coming in with nearly 9,000 career rushing yards, 158 touchdowns, and nearly 1,000 yards receiving, and 12 more scores. But JT Lindsey's also electric. LSU's got the best running back class in the country because of him as well. 2,500 yards rushing, 33 touchdowns himself. He is one of the fastest players at the position in the country. This recruiting class helps support. DJ Pickett's going to be an instant impact player. The LSU's push for the national championship. And that's how sports work, right? Everybody at the end of the year taking a little comment or shot at Brian Kelly because of his comments for Notre Dame and why he left, and now Marcus Freeman's got them in the title game. This is kind of how sports work. Now LSU is going to have their time in the sun. They're going to have a great year. You're going to see them right at the end of the year next year, in my opinion. This recruiting class helping them along. Their coordinators are back for a second year, Coach Baker. I like the way it's setting up for the Tigers going into the spring ball and then the season.
Steve, takes a village over here, but we got the odds for you. LSU is the 10th best odds to win the national title, plus 2,000. So for those of you all that don't know what that means, $100 wins you $2,000 if Brian Kelly and company hoist the hardware
so 1,000
in Miami.
wins you 200,000.
Say that again.
$1,000, turn it into $200,000.
$200,000.
Is that how that works?
I don't know if that's how that works.
I'm not great at math.
$1,000 he's saying. I thought he said 100. I was like, I don't know if that's the way that it works in Vegas, but here we go.
For those at home,
200,000.
For those at home keeping score, we have now taken the over on the Florida Gators 6.5 and the plus 2,000 on LSU winning the Natty. Those are our way too early.
It's worth a shot. I'm not guaranteeing they win the title. I'm just saying
these are our way too early national signing day picks.
Yeah.
I just love that Steve Wilfong is saying, hey, $1,000. Forget your petty cash of $100, JD. We're going $1,000 on LSU. I love that. I'm here for it, and $200,000 would not hurt anything for my bank account.
Sounds like a vote of confidence from Steve.
I'm in. I might do it while we're on the air.
I would do it with Steve's money.
That might be something I have to work with through some shady back channels. But Steve, I'll send you a link here asking about a toll you haven't paid yet on the highway, and I may have access to your bank account here soon.
Well, some of these freshmen are going to come in and make an instant impact. So LSU fans, you talk to us. Who do you think from this 2025 signing class is going to make an impact on the field for the Tigers in the 2025 season? Let us know.